Indiana goes to South Bend. And the line currently, let's get down to it. The line currently is Notre Dame favored by 7.5. Again, all we're doing here is picking against the spread. So let's see what we got. You see on the screen, I have Notre Dame favored by 4.9. The spread based on the last 4 weeks of stats, I've got Indiana favored by like 10 points. Now, that is a highly volatile statistic because you're using an incredibly short sample size. Okay? So the last 4 weeks is not necessarily to bet on. It's just to give you an idea of how well a team is playing recently. Both of these teams have pretty weak strength of schedule, if we're being completely honest. Notre Dame, number 59. Indiana, number 67. Now, this is the ESPN strength of schedule. I should probably be doing a composite, factoring in Sagarin, factoring in Massey, etc. I'm going to look into that for next year. But regardless, as far as my power rating is concerned, this thing keeps switching up. Right now, I've got Notre Dame power rated number 2. I've got Indiana power rated number 9. I find that interesting, but regardless, is what it is. So, looking at this, there's not a big advantage for either one of these teams. You know, Indiana, number 1 in PPA per pass on offense. Notre Dame's defense is number 1 in PPA allowed per pass. Number 1 allowed, or QBR allowed, versus number 1 in QBR. Like, it's massive numbers. Indiana not as good at running the football, number 41 in PPA per rush. Well, Notre Dame is number 61 in that. Here's where it gets kind of tricky. Indiana, number 49 in offensive line yards allowed. Or, excuse me, in offensive line yards, number 52 in stuff rate allowed. Notre Dame is number 59 in offensive line yards allowed, but only number 99 in stuff rate. Now, here's the issue. Notre Dame's schedule included Army and Navy. It is almost impossible to get stuffs against an offense like that, against the triple. I don't even know what you do. So some of these numbers are a little bit skewed here. When you look at the talent discrepancy, Notre Dame number 10, Indiana number 57, we saw Indiana against Ohio State, and we saw them against Michigan. Those are the 2 games this year where Indiana was barely able to run the ball, and they couldn't really pass block all that well. I think they got held to 3 points in the second half against Michigan. After that first drive, they got held to nothing, like 150 yards total offense against Ohio State for that entire game. Now you're going up against a motivated Notre Dame team. This is a playoff game. Huge game at home. I think Notre Dame's offensive and defensive line are built more like Ohio State and Michigan than they are some of these teams that Indiana has just throttled. So I know that the spread that I've got here says that we should not be betting Notre Dame here. I think Notre Dame wins this by more than 7.5. I'm going to take Notre Dame to cover the spread here. Thanks for listening to Winning Cures Everything. Make sure and follow me on Twitter @GaryWCE. If you want to toss in a question, you can email me Gary@winningcureseverything.com. Make sure and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.